Good morning, this is Sandro E Fermo. Testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3, outdoor, outside of my house. I don't think you can see me. You see me now. Okay. So this is some writing I wrote. We'll get soon on it. And this is what I wrote for. Dedicated to women. I dedicated this one to Nicole. I know it's not Nicole Kidman. I was in that kind of mood, even though I kind of dedicated to Madonna too. So it goes like this: threatening resources are part of studential courses that correlate displeasure within a sanctified measure to produce and avoid the inevitable mortality of the hangman's noose. One of these butchers became a doctor, believe it or not, and later displeased his stately correction without the soulful abduction from one's right to be as crazy as one may seem, but this is also part of some savior's grandiose scheme. For madness is a corrective groundless, when it is reciprocated with pacifistic anguish. That is dutifully a courageous soldier's plentiful dish. I wasn't that much good of a soldier. I like saying that, but I was a soldier, yeah. In order to indulge in the sour mash of life, with a bottle of whiskey, and as his only real wife. But the associative patterns of a kingdom god with a dire need of spiritual lanterns illuminate the cordial release of nature's form and cohesion with our brain's beloved interpretation of these beautiful blue skies that forced us to constantly ask why when the breeze soothes our sweat. Yeah, don't you hate this part when you're trying to let a smoke in it? When the breeze soothes our sweat with a silent honor that shall enrapture your endeavor with an invisible arousal of the pleasant state of the ritualistic habitual. This is only later conflictually logistical, because the immensity involved in this decipherment of my Madonian love and these heavenly hues are part of the universe's perturbed and yet beloved ruse that invigorates our petty states alongside the grandeur of our destined fate, that is, the just utmost confirmation of our awaited liaison, upon which, if so, the memory of time will capture the essence of our last rhyme with the grace of a family's first and last embrace, that is the true conception of a loving religious direction. When we can only defeat we can only defeat death with an open-eyed understanding of our last breath. That is truly the trajectory of every decade and century, be it accordingly illusory with a temporary and yet beloved humanistic longevity. There may be 5 minutes of 50 years. All we can truly perceive from this is that the rain and the sun, the concrete stability of our needy search for infinity. But with hope and yes, those family values, we need no longer disfigure our non-polluted internal conscience that flows upstream or downstream, all we truly know is that it is part of our baited or baited dream towards towards that celestial abode that is truly both our cross of shame and our need for someone to blame, but not without the negligence of cordial cultural defiance. That is truly our body's reliance upon the invisibility of that bonded trinity that captures all three of our loves without the need, hopefully, for more armed doves. And this one's for Europe. It's called, I don't know what it's called. I'll call everything up. When we define our epoch, it must put past negativity out to dock, to flow and later land with the absoluteness of a cordial political stand. For history revolves around its definition of a creative absorption of cultural political manifestations, and are no longer backdated but resoundingly correlated with the nutritive positivity of an all-encompassing neutrality. The differential aspects of our individualistic prospects can only in the future savor what is truly creative, created of, out of the mixed acknowledgments of or shared fulfillments. With the nation's burden to encircle or devoted creativity within a stratospheric stability. For the derangement, the derangement of or internal confinement is caused due to the lack of racial equality. That is a lackluster inhibition to negate Europe's future fruition. When we alongside, and yes, realistically without, appertain to democracy's pacifistic bout, we will then conceive an obligatory take of democratic leave, and pursue the just means of the true intellectual keen, that is, the righteous perception of no longer moderated deceptions. If we can abandon such dismal rhetoric, then the non-pollutive ideological disdain will cause no longer a contradictory pain. For where is the glory in restraint and the honor in the unreciprocal search for that beloved sacrificial lofty perch? That involves only self-pity, involves only self-pity because it must appertain to some dissolved delusional legacy. If we rid ourselves of such idiotic self-negation, I feel like a guy from Boston right now, I can't help self-negation, then perhaps a newborn democratic boy can play within a multicolored, multicultural, and sexually multifaceted nation, or the world will then and only then listen towards Europe's brand new ideological conceptions, putting on trial those whose bipolar extremities are steadily worthy of the listen, flashing a big-breasted matriarchal inflection towards the just theological and ideological directions, away from the enslavement of a past dictator's name that does not know, nor can truly fathom God's disdain, towards the pompous brutality, that even includes Stalin's ambiguity. For as we all know, that extremity puts on one hell of a multimedia show. But can we truly conceptualize or close-minded demise? Yes, of course we can, because experience has made some of us rich, while others have them pearls back while digging a ditch, expanding terrestrial kingdoms that infatuated by an intellectual true wisdom. To decipher the negligence of God, allowing these false paraders of grandeur towards Pinochet and Castro to nod, is not worth the while, and it is the very surrealism of a foreign trained slavery that induced more wavering of a United Nations sense of their caring without the permissive enlightenment of peaceful, Christ-abiding Canadian governments. We understood that. That was a Presbyterian left-wing, right-wing, but, Pinochet was a Nazi. And Thatcher liked him. But, that's when left-wing kind of like concedes towards sort of like Catholic alignment, more than you could possibly imagine at the time. Back again in the Tark land, wishing that I was bland. A light-headed approach towards political incorporation is gloriously perpetuating nostalgic nobodies to adore commercialistic duties. With the flair of a true dictator's air, they wish to rule not only upon their fools, but upon the true alliances of peaceful defiances. This will not occur because the bait is stagnant within its lure. For multimedia idiocy is not a way to fathom what is free, or ideological attainment towards, or a democratic chosen nation. For being selected by invisible fates only proves that they cannot understand nor comprehend real spiritual states. For we or pity, or we, the pitiful lot, lie up within our ambiguous spot, but that is like a Dalmatian that is forced upon us, damningly, allowing the priest in us, forced like an ambiguous spot that's upon the Dalmatian, that is forced upon us, damningly allowing the priest in us to cuss for the run towards that motherfucking specialized with manic tortured celibacy is the real bastardized real checker fucking motherfucking shit to the key. Bastards. Without please the elitist specialization of that goddamn dismal spectacularization. It does not enhance God's true will, for he or righteousness does distill with the forthcoming tide of a cordial release that shall be put both. The captain and the pacifist at ease, for elusive Christianity has become an overburdened fantasy that is correlated and meshed within an atheist legacy to remind the divorced hypocrites that they too suck on Madonna's, the various Gloria Steinem's and Madonna's religious tits, for they too are not immune towards the sexual swoon. That proves that perhaps the right wing is led by a contradictory sexual buffoon. For family traits are not ill-fated first dates, but an independent slaughter beseeching the beloved carefree hereafter, often with the drudgery of impotent slavery, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, that is liked because or bad luck and gentlemanly traits discerned who were the female fakes amongst those who had each had to abstract a piece of cake, had to abstract a piece of cake in order to please the beneficial bureaucrats that are caging philosophical black cats. But these ever so protected ones often dream of beautiful nuns while they give us the bread of Christ, wondering what is beneath that skirt, while both with Jesus and in the New Times argument with Cicciolina upon our side, they ever so celestially ridiculous. I don't know how many more minutes I have. Come on here. Yeah, well, that's my house. Hope you're all invited. I got a website, www.sandrofermo.webs.com, and it looks like that's my mother, my beloved mother. I have to look at the time. It's 16 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna shut it off. Yeah, 16 minutes. So, Mama. Good morning. Buongiorno. E per il video. Okay, so that's my beautiful mother hoeing the land like in the good old days. Again, I repeat, my web page is ... Sandro Fermo webs.com. www.sandrofermo.webs.com. My email is sandrofermo@libero.it. Sandro Fermo @libero.it. That's all we got here. I could take some excerpts.